Hey, it's TDA and welcome back to episode 12 of this Dyson Sphere Let's Play. It's our by the book Let's Play where we use the blueprints to speed everything up, and as I promised in the last episode, in this episode we will be focusing on massively upgrading our oil production and anything related to that. So then TDA, what the hell are you doing on the planet that does not have oil? Well, as I pointed out last time, I wanted to upgrade our processor production, and I actually ended up changing my mind while I was doing that, so figured I would give you a little bit of an insight on what I did and why I did it. On this planet, and this is the third planet from the sun, so it's the one all the way in the back, we have the only deposits of silicon, so this is our only planet with silicon on it. But we also have only 130,000 copper ore left, just a tiny deposit over here. Making processors on this planet, I figured, is going to be extremely inconvenient because processors need quite a lot of copper. It's actually one of the few things that actually needs a lot of copper. And it will just mean that I would need to import copper instead of, and then export the processors again. Now, combined with the fact that this planet is a little bit of a pain in order to get energy going, I figured let's just make whatever we need to make on this planet, export that, and basically build the next tier items anywhere else. So what I did is we have quite a lot of titanium, silicon, and iron ore on this planet, so it makes sense that those three items are the items that we want to export over here. So I made one little bit of smelter in terms of titanium. Same thing for silicon, it's the last one I built, so this one is still filling up. And then finally I have the same for iron. Again, iron is one of those things you will never have enough of, so yeah, might as well build iron while we have it. It's only the three so far. I built some extra power to make sure we're supplying that. We're not actually exporting it almost at all, just the titanium and going out at the moment, but even that's only a little bit. So for now, this is more than enough. We'll probably have to come back at some point to this planet to kind of upscale this production once again. But for now, this will be a long while before we need to do that. Don't forget, I took down the initial processing facilities that were here. So we're actually currently not producing any solar panels. We're not producing any processors. So that is something we'll need to fix when we get back to the other planet. And these are just our remnants of our first interplanetary logistics center, where there's actually 10,000 of each still here. There were quite a few deposits as well, storage units here that had a lot of silicon and titanium in there. So I figured I'd just leave this alone. So whenever I need silicon or titanium anywhere in the system, we have it. There's still some solar panels, etc. left as well. So this is a little bit of a backup storage, but all in all, not something we really want to actively be using. Actually, I'll put a few ships in here to export the last processors. There we go. Let's bring the ships back. And then we can clear this, because there's no more in here. We can clear this as well, because I was calling in the sorters in order to actually build everything here. That's the nice thing on how we build it up, because of course if we would be building here still and we were like, hey, we need belts, just put it in one of the ILS, set it to remote demand, and some ship will start flying and bring you your belts. And of course you can do the same for the sorters as well. We will be setting up at some point another mall. At least we'll be upgrading our mall most likely, so that we're actually getting all the buildings everywhere on demand. But for now this will do. Yeah, so change of plans. We will need to make our processors somewhere else, and we'll need to make solar panels somewhere else. But while we're at it, we can optimize that a little bit as well. So this is what we're doing, and now let's hop up to our other planet again. Alrighty, so here we are, back on our home planet. I did some scouting around on where we want to build stuff, and I think I settled on this location. So, processors. What do we need for that? Well, the same stuff as we needed before. So we need some of these tiny little things that are not actually connecting with anything else. Why is that not building over there? No apparent reason, but that's okay. because what we can do is we can actually use this little basic build. It might have to do with the location where we put it, so let's just make a bigger one like that. That should do the trick, I think. Does that fit over there? Yeah, I think it does. There we go. That's one. It's a basic blueprint. We'll need to set the recipe, but that should be fine. And then we can put the processors, maybe not directly next to them, but at least close. There we go. Why is this not building? Oh, this is annoying. Let's just use another basic blueprint then. I'll try to update the blueprints after this session so you can actually use them without all these issues. While I'm at it, we might actually want to use a bigger one for this as well. Assuming this will fit over here. Because this might interfere, because the ILS ones, interstellar versions, there you see, too close. So I have to scoot it over a little bit, still too close. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit ugly. Let's just use this downscaled version. The smaller ones, this should be fine, and that way it should fit over here quite snugly. There we go. That should take care of our processors, and then we also want to build one more thing before we forget, and that's a solar plant with an ILS. And the reason we want that one to have an ILS is so we can request solar panels wherever we are in the system. Now the solar panels actually need a lot of the stuff that everything else also needs. So this is another reason to use these rather than the PLS version, the planetary versions. Yeah, I'll make a quick skip to where all this building is done, and then we can get on with it. Okay, so we're back, and as you can see, we've now built all of the things we just scheduled. We have a industrial logistics center here. We're actually requesting the silicon from the other planet. So it will take a little while for this to start flying up and down, and we might want to consider actually powering this up, putting some logistic vessels in here to speed this up, but generally speaking this will be quite nice. Oh, and we just unlocked the new extra 3 drones for construction, just after I was done, of course. Yay! Anyway, there is actually again an outgoing belt that supplies these components to across the belt, and look, it's a multi-level belt, just straight across the other one, straight into the processor unit over here. We don't need it anywhere else, so we might as well just belt it directly in there. The same holds for the circuit boards. The circuit boards are coming directly from the other one. Again, multi-level belt, I think, over here. Yeah, there we go. It saves a lot of power, and as a result we are also belting in the copper, which we have over here, which is also why I built this build over here, to keep everything close together where it actually needs to go. This belt goes straight into this one, so now we get everything we need here except for the circuit boards, which I will need to fix in a moment, but that shouldn't take too much time, considering we again can build it straight from over here. Like so. And remember, you don't need to build it directly from where you're producing it, because this is just storing it up. As long as this has more than it needs, it will continue piling it on to the next area where you're transporting it. And because I have the limit set here set fairly low, this won't really drain a lot on the circuit boards coming into the processor unit, but it will still receive them, and therefore it will now start crafting solar cells. Not solar cells, sorry, solar panels. So there's 4 already. This is not going to go fast, but we don't need a lot of them all the time anyway, so by the time this has produced a max, which I set to 1000, yeah, we'll be long done by then, and we have a stockpile from before. Similarly, I belted the copper straight through as well. And by doing things like this, and as you can see, this is still producing, it's actually waiting for the next batch of silicon, but anyway, we have quite a large base now if you take everything together. I mean, we have all the previous stuff we've built. We actually didn't take anything down on this planet yet. We have all this stuff over here. Not sure what I'm building over there. I think there was a test build or something. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff built, a lot of production, and we're actually not even using 100 megawatts of energy. If you would be using drones to transport everything in between these little silos over here, trust me, you would be using probably about twice as much energy as we're using now. Again, nothing wrong with that. We're still using drones here and there for the things that are at an inconvenient distance from each other. I try not to overdo the belts, not having belts all across your planet, etc. But yeah, this is something you can do. Now for the next build, what we want to do is, let's make sure we actually have oil refineries. Yes, we do. We want to start building oil refineries. And let's see where we want to build that stuff. I think it's probably going to be down here. So let's see. Yeah, we might as well. We have, let's see, we have oil over there. Some more over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe even this one's 6. Although that's gonna be a bit annoying to get to, but at least 5. So that's like 15. There's more over there, and there's a whole batch over here as well. So this could be another location. Let's keep it simple and let's keep it located closely to where we are now. So let's see, oil. I have a nice little blueprint for that as well, which is this one. It's quite big, as you can see. Let's just put it here. I think it should fit just between these. Yeah, it does. And there we go. We have our oil setup all done already. It's producing. This will be stacking up quite quickly. So, and the hydrogen is not going anywhere, and neither is the oil. So in order to fix at least part of that problem, we're going to put in some storage units. Storage units, I said. There we go. We don't have a direct need or use for storage units at the moment. But this will make sure we don't have to come back that soon to fix the problem. Hydrogen is pretty much free anyway. But it does have its uses. Let's make this a little neater than this. There we go. You just feed these into each other like that. Oh, this is not aligned. We can't have that. This is the part of the game where I do get a little focused on keeping it neat. And these are things that we are likely to keep around until the end of the game. So might as well make it look good. Yeah, so the hydrogen goes in there. And of course you do need to remember to actually set the hydrogen to come out. So let's do that. So it'll go automatically all the way to the back to start filling up here. And by that, it means we have at least, what is this, 160,000 spare space for hydrogen. So that's good. Did I count that right? Yes, I did. Good. Okay, so next up, we want to start working to the higher tier items. And of course, we have blueprints to do that. So what we want is organic crystals. And I have a blueprint for that, which is going to be exciting to see if it works. The answer is likely to be no. Actually, there's one of two ways you can do this. Well, there's more than two ways you can do this, of course. But in terms of blueprints, I mean. Blueprints like this, and this is actually going to be a nice little test to see if this works. It doesn't. The problem is with blueprints that have chemical plants in them that they can be really picky on where they want to be put down, and that's because of the shape of chemical plants, sorry, not planets. That's why I also made a few basic blueprints that should work wherever you place them. This is a very straight up type of blueprint, and I am actually going to place several of them. It's a little bit smaller in size, but especially when you initially start scaling things up, you don't need to overdo it. And again, you keep hearing me say that over and over again, but there's a reason for that. And because overdoing it can easily lead to, yeah, you either not producing what you want to produce, or just resulting in you having to overbuild some stuff even though you don't actually need it. So I suggest starting out relatively small. I mean, if this is the production for our organic crystals, it's going to be, well, 10 times as big as what we used to have before this. So small is relative, but actually before we do that, let's see if we can fit everything in. But that will require a little bit of min-maxing, so let's see, because we need 3 things. We need, let's look at the recipe. So we need plastic, we need oil, and we need water. Well, that's fairly straightforward. We have oil here, we have plenty of water all around, so we also need plastic. For plastic, we need oil, and we need graphite. Graphite. Look at me. Graphite, sorry. Not graphene, not graphite. Graphite. And we built that by, building graphite. And this is the same build as that we have on the other side of the planet. This is probably going to be overkill for the amount of resources we have where I'm placing this, but this should work. Now, ideally, I want to fit in 2 more builds here, so let's see if we can make that fit. The chemical ILS. That's going to be our oil. Plastic. I think it looks neater if I place it over here like this. And then the second one, nice, look. It will nicely fit in here. And that will be our plastic. Now this doesn't actually come with preset recipes because it's a dummy blueprint basically. So we will need to set those up, but one thing to keep in mind is that if we put plastic here, let's see, we need oil and we need, what was it? Graphite. I keep saying it wrong, I'm not sure what's up with me today. So graphite, and that's going to work fine, but, in order to build this one, I actually need an ILS to put down. So let me hop back quickly and pick one up. We should have plenty of those by now. Where is my very ugly build? It's even further away than I thought. Our base is getting so big. Look at all the stuff we already built. We're gonna have so much fun tearing it down. Anyway, yeah, so we have a lot of PLS waiting for us. And let's build some of those as well. There we go, and there's another 6 of those. How many do I have on me at the moment? 20? 20 is quite a lot. There we go. Okay, and flying back. Where do we need to go there? Actually took the long way around. But in order to demonstrate this, because if we don't do anything, we'll run into a problem here. So in order to build organic crystals, we need 3 inputs. And we have 3 belts over here in this dummy build, but we actually don't have 3 inputs. So, because we need to have the organic crystal set here, but then we need 3 more, which we don't have. Very simple, just replace this one. Put down an ILS. And scale it up. And while I'm doing that, of course, what I will do is simply make a blueprint out of that to fix that problem to begin with. Just as a reminder, if you build the wrong thing, but you're basically halfway towards to where you want to go, just use your previous build and adjust it so you get the build that you actually want. Now, again, I won't have you sit through me building this, so be right back while we finish this build. And we're back, and we're done, or at least for this episode. We've built the graphite. Yes, I pronounced it correctly, I think. Plastic. Organic crystals. I also built, in the meanwhile, a direct link to the titanium crystals. And I built diamonds over here, because of course we already have graphite production over here. So again, nicely tied together. It's all things that are related to each other. And I think it's probably obvious what the next build is going to be. It's going to be maybe a little bit more creative than what you're expecting, or at least I hope so. But yeah, next up we are going to fix our science. So I hope you enjoyed this episode where we kind of go step by step to get the initial basics of chemical stuff going up. Was pretty much all repetition of things we've done before, but now on a much larger scale. Nonetheless, this is a phase you need to go through. Once again, I highly recommend trying to use as much belts as you can rather than actual drones. As you can see, I have some drones flying up and down, in this case for the titanium, to bring it in. But try to limit that where you can. I have belts, for example, going in here. I like my double belts, by the way, so I have belts going in here with organic crystals. There's only one place they need to go at the moment, which is here, so no need to have them being flown around the entire planet. Same for the graphite, it's being fed in here. This actually doesn't need that much graphite to make the plastic, so I'm also belting that through to this one, where we're using the surplus and making diamonds out of that. I highly recommend, by the way, that you cap your diamonds. You don't need a lot of diamonds for pretty much anything. And if you make 5 or 10,000 of this, it's kind of a waste, especially considering you can very quickly make more. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you're still here, and we're on episode 12 by now, and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It's a very nice way of me knowing that people are actually watching this, other than, of course, the people that have already subscribed and have been commenting. So thank you very much if you're one of those. I am actually going to make another episode on our basics, so that will allow you to kind of get the feel of what I was thinking about that. Steal those from that episode as well, so that will be coming up very soon. And once again, if there's anything in particular you want to ask, want to see, yeah, let me know, and I'll try to oblige. Thank you, and see you in the next one.